Okay, so it had some time to dry, and we can take them off the paint stick now. And what we got to do is be very, very careful when we take this off. Maybe we should take this one off first. We should go by the side. See how I'm doing it? It's almost like I'm peeling it off, because these are so fragile. These are just, if I just go like that and rip it off, it'll just break in half. And the ones for the sides are even more fragile. So I'm gonna just kind of peel it just like that. Make sure nothing happens to it. And we do the same thing for the top. Now I'm just gonna kind of try to peel it back. See that? Just like that. So these little things come in handy, and it's just newspaper that I rolled up and taped. So it's a good idea if you guys want something to hold while you paint. Okay, so we're looking at the back of the ship now, and the way Victory looks is she has these ornate pieces on the back, but along these she also has ornate pieces of molding that we're going to do. So there's molding that's going along over the top level of the first windows, and there's a molding that goes on the bottom, and that's going to run to the side of the ship. And there's also a molding that we're going to put at the corner. So before we do all that, I want to start decorating the pieces, because the way Victory looks in the back at the stern is she has this beautiful stern castle, and it's gold, it's yellow. Yeah. So when we look at the back, you can see there's a piece of molding that goes up on the corner. And there's that molding that I was telling you guys about. It actually comes up above the first level of windows and goes all the way to the side of the ship. Well, there's one below this as well. And there looks like there's one that's on the side. We'll address that later. Again, we can only do this after these are on the ship, because we're going to have to put this on, because these are going to have to be bent because it's not straight. There's a slight curve to everything. And then we'll cut them out, we'll fit them, we'll paint them, and then we'll glue them on. But before we get to that, we got to do all the windows. And these little, they almost look like pillars that are in between the windows. So you can see the way they look. And I almost thought that it was blue, because some of these pictures, it looks like there's blue on the back of the ship, but it's actually black. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to frame in or paint all of the windows. So what I'll do is I'll go around the square of each window, and then we'll fill in the pane frames, and then we'll go down. And what's on top, these are supposed to be flags, and I don't really know what this design is supposed to be. I was thinking of printing out an actual picture of it and putting it onto a water slide decal, but I'm not sure yet, because I know these are supposed to be flags, so we may just color them in white, and we have no choice but to follow the design that's on here. Same thing with the sides. It's kind of a more ornate kind of trim, but it's closer to the real ship than than what's on top over here. But what we're going to do first is we'll take one of the sides and we're going to start putting the color in on the windows and they look like pillars, but I'm not sure what they are. All right, so because this is going to be tricky, instead of using a brush, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a paint marker or paint pen, and I think it'll be a little bit easier. So we shake it up a little bit, and this one has the thick part at one end and the narrower, more finer point at the other. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. There. See what we're looking like so far? And because it's so small, really tiny, well, hopefully you can see that. And now I want to do the little pillars. So hopefully you can see the little pillars now. And there's going to be a little fine line, but I'm going to use a really fine black paint pen to go in between the windows and the columns. So right now we'll just do the yellow. And now we'll do the windows. But the windows actually have... I didn't catch that. It actually has a little bit of the flash that's still in it. And I hope that won't be a problem. Oh, they came right out. That's good. There. Now, there's a reason why I painted it black as well, and we're painting the color over it. Because remember, we're not painting a Camaro. This is a very old historic battleship, and yes, she was recently painted, and she does look good, but remember, she's not a battleship. She's not going to be shiny. So the colors aren't going to be as vivid on a wooden vessel as they would be on a metal vessel. And looking at the Victory, you can see, again, it's not bright and shiny. They're there, you can tell they're there, but they're kind of toned down. So what I'm going to do is we'll do the pillars on the next rung, and then we'll think about doing the windows. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. And what we're going to do now is I was thinking about putting another coat, but I think I'm going to leave it at one. Again, only because the colors aren't supposed to be as bright and vivid. So we're going to leave it like this. We're going to let the paint dry, and then we're going to put the little tiny details on there with the little fine point black paint pen. So that would have been for the port side. So now we're going to do the same thing for the starboard side. Here we are. And that's the painting for the starboard side. And again, we got to let that dry. And we'll move on now. And we're going to think about doing the back. And when it comes to that ornate design, and look, you can see right there what I was talking about, how there are flags that are on either side. And this is the only shot we get of it in the book. You can see the white flag with the red cross on it. So that's what I'm going to do. These are going to be white. We're going to make the flags white. All right, let's start with the one on the port side. All right, So what I want to do is I want to keep the paint thin enough where we're not filling in the cracks. See how you can kind of make out that detail? All right, let's do the same thing now for the other side. There we are. So I'm going to put the shield. I'm going to put red lines in it, and then we're going to do the yellow for the shield. Again, I'm trying to lightly touch the top. There. Again, that isn't the exact design that's on the ship, but that's what I have. That's what the modeling company put. So that's the way we're going to leave it for now. But on a real ship, the white flags flying off either side have the red cross in the middle, the stripe. But I'm not sure. These almost look... They don't really look like a flag on this design, but that's what they're supposed to be. All right, so why don't we go ahead now, and I'm going to move on, and we're going to do the detail that's on the side, and that's going to be yellow. Okay. See the design? I don't want to risk putting another coat. Only because I have to skim along the top, because it's ever so slightly, there's a gap between the design and the ship. So, all right, we're gonna do the same thing. Actually, before we do that, I think I'm gonna start to do the windows now. There we go. Yeah, look at that. That's starting to look pretty good. So I think what we can do now is we're gonna paint in the design on this side of the ship. There. There we are. And when this is on the ship and everything is painted, I think she's gonna look pretty good. I think the back will go on first, and then what we'll do is we'll put the side pieces on. And then we can think about planking that in. But before we get to that, we gotta frame in a little bit. I wanna make sure the paint is dry. So the paint had a little bit of time to dry. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to put just a little bit of cutting for the because the window frames, it wasn't yellow all the way to the edge like this. There was black showing. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut in with the black, and we're going to finish this piece off. So I'm going to start in between the windows and the pillars. There's a line of black, and then there's a little bit of the black along the edge, but that's why I didn't go over the edge, because the black will show up. So let me take care of the areas in between the pillars. So I know this is very subtle. Hopefully you can see that little separation. I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom now. Here, and I sharpened up the windows. So it's just a little subtle little change, but I want it as close to the ship as possible. Now I'm going to do the bottom. There we are. Again, this was pretty subtle, but the differences are there. I hope you can see them. So this one's done. This one's ready to put the panes in. I'll get to that in a little bit. All right, we're going to do the same thing for the starboard side now. So this is all set. And hopefully you can see the frame's a little bit more defined. Okay, that's done now. Now we're going to do the back. And what I want to do is I want to clean up. We're going to do the same thing between the windows and the columns. There's a little bit of a gap where it's the black is showing. There we are. And all we got to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just kind of clean up the design on both sides, just a little bit. The little areas where I over painted. There we are. Because it's so small and it's so intricate and it's really hard for me to see. We're gonna leave it like that. I think that's good. So now we gotta wait for everything to dry thoroughly, and we're gonna put the window panes on the back. Okay, so they had some time to dry, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put the panes in. Now, originally, I was thinking because this is so small, there's no way we can put panes in. Now, if you look, hopefully you can see, because we got lights that are going to be coming out on the back, the captain's quarters. And if they're just going to come through, you're going to see that we're going to have hot spots on the top, and it's just going to blind everything. And then there's going to be nothing for the rest. Same thing with the ones on the sides. You look at them. So I was thinking, well, I got to put something there. So I was thinking, what am I going to do with this? I was thinking of sacrificing, you know, like a DVD case, but that would be too thick. So to make a long story short, I noticed a thing of snacks that my wife got. She likes to bring to work with her. And I'm looking at the cellophane and I'm like, interesting. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Let me show you quite the difference. Now we put the light on. I want to get it nice and smooth. And now do you see the difference? Now you see everything it has that glow. So I'm thinking, hey, this is really good. So this is what we're going to use. So this is how I'm going to do it. We're going to take the cellophane, and after trial and error, we're going to cut a piece. We're going to make sure it's nice and flat. So now we're going to take the back of the piece that we're going to cover. And what I'm going to do is we're going to put the ever so slightest amount of glue on the back. And what I want to do is we're going to run it along the pieces of the wood. Just a little bit. We're really not going to need a lot. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put it onto the plastic. I'm going to lie it down just like that. And we're going to put this aside now, and we're going to let it dry. So let's put this over here. So we're going to do the same thing now for the other one. Make sure the glue doesn't squirt through, because that'll smudge up all the paint, and that's not what we want. And we're going to put that aside now. And we're going to put that aside to dry. A little bit of plastic is showing, but we'll take care of that when it's completely dry. Again, we're gonna use this, it's better. We're gonna roll out the back of the plastic to make sure it's absolutely as flat as possible. And when we put a light to the back, hopefully you can see the difference. The light kind of goes along and travels along the plastic where it looks like it has panes in it. So this is going to go on this way. And again, like I said at the beginning of the video, once this is on, then we have to do the molding that's going to go along the sections as well. And when we look at the back now, what a difference it makes with the detailing. So it's going to go just like that. I want to make sure that just like that. And I think with that on and the sides, she's going to start to look really good. So when we move on in the next video, what we're going to do is, because we know that those plates are going to go on and there's going to be no overhang on the bottom. It's going to be flush. So what we're going to do now is in the next video, we're going to close in the stern section. We're going to plank all this in. Because remember, on the bottom of the windows, going across this section over here, that's where it actually is spelled out the word victory. So we're going to work that out, and we're going to close the back in, and she'll be ready to add all the little goodies on. So after we get done doing that, we'll be finished with the basic planking of the ship. So she'll be closed in and we'll be ready to start having some fun. But we're going to do that in the next video. So my friends, I thank you for watching. And until the next video in this series, I'll talk to you guys really soon.